Today I'm working in the studio with Sydney, and I'm going to separate her from the background. I'll show you how to do it on today's episode of
Ask David Bergman.
Hey there everybody, welcome back. Here I am, as always, answering your photography questions. If you've got photo questions, you guys know what to do by now. You just go to askdavidbergman.com, submit your question right there on the site. I just might pick it to answer here on a future show. You may be wondering where I am. I'm in Seattle, Washington. I'm actually on tour with Luke Combs, and I'm here in a studio. Thanks to Marina, she's behind the camera, for letting me use her studio. And I've got Sydney modeling for me today. But what we're talking about today is separation light. I've got a good question from Manish T, and he asked, I'm a wedding photographer and I often have a problem when I'm photographing people. I lose the details of their hair against the dark background. I'm using a strobe and a softbox as my key light. Should I use a second flash behind them? Manish, it's a great question, and like I said, what we're talking about here is called separation. Really, when you photograph somebody like Sydney, she's got dark hair, she's wearing a dark jacket, and I'm photographing her against a black backdrop. So usually what you want to do is you want to define your subject, and the way you do that is you need to see contrast. You need to see a difference in the light that's on your subject versus the light that's on the background. Because if it's all just black on black on black, that's going to be a problem. I'm going to show you exactly how this works and we'll work through it. I've got, very similar to what Manish said he has, a single softbox. This is the Glow 2x3 foot softbox. It's very easy to travel with. That's why I bring it with me. Lightweight travel stand. I've got a Canon Speedlite in there using the Bowens mount adapter. So very easy travel kit. And then camera-wise, this is the Canon EOS R5, the 45 megapixel mirrorless, the 24-105 f4 lens, and the STE3 RT transmitter. Just rolls off the tongue. I wish they would rename that. Canon, I love you, but can you rename this? Just call it like the Flash Monster or something. But anyway, that allows me to control the Speedlites remotely from my camera. So I've got the one light here. My settings, I'm at 200th of a second at f4. That's my flash sync speed. I'm at 800 ISO. That way I can keep my power down. I don't have to eat all the batteries on the Speedlites. And I'm at 30-second power. Let me show you what this looks like with just the one Speedlite, just the softbox as a key light against the black background. All right, Sydney, here we go. Just gonna take one quick frame, and 1, 2, and 3, boom. All right, and you can see now, it's a lovely picture. There's nothing wrong with it. She looks great, but that her hair goes right into that background, right? And you really kind of lose that definition. So it's a style choice. You may want that, but in most cases, you want to separate your subject from the background. So the traditional way to do that is by using a hair light. So yes, Manish, a second light will definitely help you here. So I just so happen to have, what are the odds that I have here in the studio a big boom with another light on it. We're going to roll right in here. If I don't destroy the studio. Marina's lovely studio space here. I'm going to bring this right overhead, a little bit behind Sydney, but it's a soft light. I've got another softbox. It's the same Glow 2x3 softbox with a Speedlite in it. We'll put a sandbag on there for safety. And since I can control everything remotely, I'm going to turn on Group B. That's what that light is on. Also 30-second power. So I've got it a little bit over to the camera left side, which is what I want, because that's the side that's really not being lit by this key light. It's the opposite of that key light. So it should give me some separation. So here we go. Perfect. 1, 2, boom. And you can see the difference there. Big, big difference. Right now, that side of her head is completely lit. From behind, I still have the shadows on her face from the Rembrandt lighting in the front that I want. That hair light does not affect that in any way because it's behind her. All it's doing is giving me that separation, that definition, where her hair hits the background. It's white. I've got that white line, and it separates her. So that's a very traditional way to do it. Manish, that's your simple answer. Now, there are a couple other things you can do if you want to get a little creative. You can also have a different background, right? If you don't want to have black on black, you could use a different color back there. You could use a gray or a white background. But even having black, I can actually do something to change that. And I can just light it. So let's take another light. Here's a simple speed light on a stand. And what I'm going to do is turn it around so it's facing the background. So I'm going to put it right behind her so I will not see that light, hopefully. And I'm going to turn off my hair light now because we're not using the hair light. So I'm going to turn off B, and I'm going to turn on C. I'm at 16th power on the C light. And that is simply just going to hit straight into that background. Even on black, if you pump enough light into it, it's going to get lighter, right? So here we go. Just a quick frame. Perfect. 1, 2, 3. Boom. And now you can see what that did, right? So that is a beautiful headshot portrait, right? Against black, black hair, black jacket. But we've lit that enough so that that background is now a little brighter. Now, again, you can get as creative as you want with this. That's a very simple way to do it. But if I photograph a lot of celebrities and rock stars and people like that, and this is kind of a simple corporate type headshot, but if I want to make it a little more fun, there is something else I can do. So let's move this light out of the way, and I'm going to bring in 2 other lights, and I'm going to angle them just a little bit off, straight at her face and right into the camera, right about there, right? And you may have noticed, if you can see it, I've also put blue gels on those lights. So I have covered them. You could do it with white. You could do it really with anything. I've chosen to put blue on there, and I have them firing basically right into the camera, but it's also going to hit the back of her. So it's going to light her. It's going to give me a nice separation, but it's also going to be pretty cool. It might flare out a little bit, and it could be neat. So let's turn off C. Turn on D. Those are 8th power, so we're going to get a lot of power out of those things. And let's see how we look here. All right, this is rock and roll, baby. There we go. Good. Couple more frames. Good. All right, straight at me. One more. And boom. Perfect. And you can see how that looks, right? That's a lot of separation now because we've got those lights flaring out. Manish, it's probably not what you were asking about, but I wanted to demonstrate sort of how far you can go with this. It's only open to your own creativity. Just whatever you want to do to separate that subject, your subject, from the background. Always a good way to go. Manish, thanks for sending in that question. Remember, if you guys have your own photo questions, askdavidbergman.com. Submit it right there on the site. Also, you should already be a subscriber to the Adorama YouTube channel. If not, go ahead and click that button down below. Hit that little bell icon so you get notifications whenever new shows come out all week long from myself and the other photo hosts right here on Adorama TV. You know I'm always back here with brand new questions. I'll be back here next time. Sydney will be watching. Marina will be watching. We're all going to be here on Ask David Bergman.